Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video. This one we're going to be doing probably my most anticipated video, the one I've been wanting to do the most out of all these kind of 2017 videos that we're doing. And yes, we're still talking about 2017, even though we're pretty much one month into it. We're still talking about 2017. We're going to be talking about 2017 for a while, just because I'm slow on videos and I should have had these out sooner, but hey ho, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. We can go into February. As long as we're done by the end of February, I don't think it's too bad to be still talking about 2017. Anyway, so I'm doing my top 10 best playable characters. So these characters have to be playable. And I'm not including any of the Halloween characters because I consider them unplayable. The beasts that we get that you can get decorations from, they're technically non-playable. So anyway. So we got 10, 2 honourable mentions, which I'll talk about in a second, but I've just got to say, real quick, if you guys didn't know, we did an award ceremony where we did this, we talked about them. So granted, it didn't include the Christmas characters, so it's possible that, you know, some of them deserve to be on the list. It didn't include Christmas characters, but Bleeding Gums Murphy came first, Norbert Van Houten came third, and Femme Fatale, JG came third. So those were the results, the public results if you want, but these here are my opinions. So let's go first to honourable mentions. So first of all, I want to give an honourable mention to Mr. Sparkler. Mr. Sparkle didn't quite make the list, unfortunately, but he is a really, really cool character. I did like him. He probably would be number 11, to be honest. I just think the other characters were a little bit better, is all, or they were like fresher in that event or something, or they were better. I just feel like Mr. Sparkle was kind of underpinned a little bit. I don't know. I just don't. Although it's cool, and he is cool, and I like his tasks and stuff. It's just weird that he is his own character. So I don't really get why he's like. I kind of prefer him as a playable character, but I'm not. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't. I just couldn't really put him on the list. I just think the other characters I preferred way more. I'd just be lying to myself if I put him higher up on the list. And also another honorable mention is Count Dracula. Unfortunately, Count Dracula did not make the list, but he was quite refreshing in Halloween. I've got to give him that. The fact that we got him over, for me anyway, I didn't like the whole magic theme. I didn't like most of the characters that Halloween gave us. The only 3 characters I really liked were well, maybe 4, I guess. Angelica Button I liked. I liked the Great Raimondo. I liked the Evil Shopkeeper, and I liked Count Dracula. But they were like the only 4 that I liked. But Count Dracula was very refreshing to get because he was actually a Halloween character. Anyway, moving on. So number 10. So talking about Halloween, number 10 is the Evil Shopkeeper. So I've put him as number 10. Now, the reason I put him here is I think he was probably the best character we got in Halloween. Well, yeah, he was the best character we got in Halloween. As happy as I was to get Dracula, and I did like Dracula, I just think the Evil Shopkeeper was way, way cooler. It's just kind of his look. He looks really cool. He's got voice, which is really awesome, and he's just got some really interesting tasks. Like, they took such a small character and made him into something really, really cool. And for that, fortunately, he gets number 10 on this list. I just think what they did with him, he was such a minor character. They made him really, really awesome. Although he was donuts, but it's okay. I just think it was really, really cool character to get, and I really enjoyed him. And yeah, definitely was refreshing to see him in Halloween, and he kind of didn't save the event for me or anything, but like he was just a nice refresher in the event, just like Dracula was. Unfortunately, I just think the Evil Shopkeeper was a little bit better than Dracula. Anyway, moving on. Number 9. So number 9, I've put Cesar and Uglion. Now I've put both of them because they're essentially a duo, so I don't really think I can put one as number 8 and one as number 9 because that just wouldn't be fair. They're a duo, so although yes, it is technically 2 characters, I'm cheating a little bit. They get the tie for, I guess, number 9. Now both of them, obviously one wouldn't work without the other, so both of them are really, really awesome. And it's partially because of the nostalgia of that episode. I love that episode. I had also come up with an event, like a France Week idea with those guys added, and I wanted them to be added in the game for a while. So when we got them, I was really, really happy. I think the fact that they both have voice is awesome. They both have some really funny, interesting tasks, and their questline is awesome. Go actually read their questline. It's awesome. And so I just think that they were really, really refreshing to get. Not refreshing, because the entirety of Destination Springfield was refreshing to get. But these two in particular, I think were really sold the French act. Like the France act was like without these guys wouldn't have worked. It was a really really good act because of these guys as the basically the final prize. Two really conniving, scheming people, but they're two great villains that Simpsons has produced, and it's a shame that we never saw them again like properly as villains because they are awesome. And yeah, so they get number 9. Number eight, I've put JG. Now, as much as I was a bit kind of, I don't know, I like JG to some extent, and I respect that he was number 3rd in the public vote. I just don't think he's that great. I don't think I'm going to put him as like my number 3 on my list or anything. I think he was okay. Now, the reason is he was, he did make his episode tie-in. With his episode tie-in, it was a big episode. The Great Gatsby was a 2-part episode, so he played such a vital role in that. And again, he is a villain character. He's based on obviously Jay-Z, but he is this villainous character who screws over Mr. Burns. So it was kind of cool to get him as the character in Tapped Out. Now, granted, he's only really good if you've watched both of the Great Gatsby episodes. He isn't great in Tapped Out. Like he's really expensive to get, and he doesn't really do like I'll be honest, he has some okay tasks, but I don't think he's that great. So he would be higher if he really just kind of did a little bit more and Tapped Out. Maybe he was free. If he was free, hell, he might be a bit higher. But I did like him overall. I think he was an interesting character, an interesting villain as well. Because again, he's technically a villain, and the fact it's a villain that goes after Mr. Burns is even more funny. So yeah, I definitely he deserves number 8. Number seven, I've put Mary Spruckler. So okay, so I like Mary Spruckler. I think she was she is a cool character. Now, I would have preferred it if they focused a little bit more on the romance between her and Bart in the actual Tapped Out story. But it's okay. It's not. They did a little bit, and I guess if they wanted to do it in the way of the county fair and not in the way of the romance, that's fair enough. I mean, I've kind of accepted it now. I do like Mary Spruckler as a character from The Simpsons, and I was glad that she was finally added in the game. I was just not a massive fan of how she was added in the game. But regardless, she does have some really cool tasks. She does have an okay quest line, I guess. It's not that bad, but she was donuts, unfortunately, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned. She was 150, and I think 150 is worth it for Mary Spruckler. It wasn't worth it for Amber Dempsey, but it was definitely worth it for Mary Spruckler. Really, really cool character. And I'm glad that she kind of came in the game. Not really much more I can say. Anyway, number 6. So, number 6, I have put Senor Ding Dong. I love it. I love Senor Ding Dong. He does have voice. I'm pretty sure he only has like 1 or 2 things he says. Like, does anyone have any jumper cables? I'm pretty sure that's the only thing I actually remember him saying. But he does have voice regardless, so that's cool. He has some awesome animations and awesome tasks. The questline's okay, I guess. And he comes with, of course, pretty cool building. I just love him. I loved him in The Simpsons, and I wanted them to add him in the superheroes event. Although he wasn't really a superhero, so to speak, he still had that kind of theme, and he was just a funny little spoofy character who, just stopped doorbells that went mental. It was just everything The Simpsons was. Everything The Simpsons was Senor Ding Dong. Just stupid and over the top. That's all The Simpsons really is. And, Senor Ding Dong is the embodiment of that. He's just completely over the top. I loved his character in The Simpsons, and I think they added him pretty solidly into Tapped Out. I think he makes a nice addition, and he's a funny character to look at as well. So yeah, he gets number 6. Loved Senor Ding Dong. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Number 5. Number 5 goes to Jesus. So yes, the Christ himself. I've given it to Jesus. Now, the reason is it comes down to how he was in the event. Now, how he was added in the event, the idea that you could use him to your advantage, the Gills deal, I think was really solid. The fact that he had his tasks were just awesome as well. His tasks are awesome. The way his building is awesome. He doesn't have voice, unfortunately, and I love characters that have voice, so it's kind of annoying when they don't have voice. But yeah, it doesn't matter. He's kind of cool, and of course he is the Son of God himself. The real reason why Christmas is celebrated, at least in in the Western world, anyway. So it was perfect to get him in Christmas, and he was a Gills deal, and maybe he would be higher if he wasn't a Gills deal. I don't know, but he was. I liked how they added him in, and I think it made sense to add him in that update. And he just is a pretty cool character. Not really much more to say. I just think he deserves to be above everyone else I've put on this list. Yeah, so number 5. Anyway, number 4, speaking of religion, we've got Rabbi Krustascoffy. So number 4, I've gone with Rabbi Krustascoffy. Now, the reason I've gone with him is partially because he's awesome. No, the character himself is pretty cool, and I was glad that they added the character in. He really sold the Home of the Heretic event for me, and that's the reason I said that the Home of the Heretic event was the best mini event. And it was partially because of him. He basically kind of sold it as well, because he's such a cool character, such a core character to get. He came with Temple Beth Springfield, which is an awesome building. He unfortunately was Donuts, but that's okay. He was only 150, and I think honestly that was kind of worth it for both Temple Beth and him. Like, he is a really cool character. His animations are pretty cool, especially the one with him playing chess. I love that animation. His tasks are okay. So his tasks are cool. His quest line was meh. I mean, it wasn't that great, but it was okay. And the event he was in was really good. So Rabbi Krustascoffy definitely deserves the number 4 spot. Anyway, number 3 spot goes to Santa Claus. So Santa Claus gets number 3. The reason I give it to him is he kind of shaped the Christmas event. I really liked the Christmas event this year. I didn't think it was that bad. Some people didn't like it, but I think it was pretty solid. It wasn't great. It wasn't amazing, but it was like it was pretty good for what it was. And Santa as the final prize really did sell the event for me. So that's why I'm giving it to Santa. He really did sell the event as him being the final prize. The fact that everyone was fighting for him and we finally got him. I also liked how they kind of stewed him up. Like, they added him one year, but they didn't actually add him. I like how he kind of had that build up, and this is the kind of the climax to Santa's story when he finally gets added in the game is through this. I kind of like that. And I liked how he was added in the game, and I think his tasks and stuff are really cool. His questline was, again, not great, but his tasks are cool, and he was kind of free for everyone as long as you played the event every day. He was free for everyone, but that's okay. So yeah, number 3 is Santa. And then number 2. So we're getting to 12 minutes of this video, but number 2 is Bleeding Gums Murphy. So people are probably shocked because I presume that everyone thought that Bleeding Gums Murphy was number 1, but I did not vote for Bleeding Gums Murphy to be put. Somebody else voted for Bleeding Gums Murphy to be put forward in the Christmas, not the Christmas event, the award ceremony. Somebody else. The reason I didn't put Bleeding Gums Murphy is, yes, he was my most wanted character, to be honest. Like, he was my second most wanted character for a long time, and the fact that he was that for ages, you would have thought then, by default, he has to be my favorite character. He may have been my favorite character if he actually, no, scrap that. He would have been my favorite character from this year if he was put as the event leader for Homapalooza, but he wasn't. He was kind of, in a way, I feel like they did a disservice to him a little bit, because he's such an awesome character. He's such a rememberable character, and he's such a wanted character that has been wanted in Tap Talk for so long. And they just kind of added him in. And I haven't really talked about this in length. I've talked about it to, like, Nuclear Vidus HD, and he agrees with me. Well, at least he did at the time when I talked about him. Like, I talked about him a few months ago about this. But he agreed at the time that it just felt really odd. They just kind of threw him in, and that was it. And he was added in with the Jazz Hole at the start of the Home of Palooza, and that was pretty much it. I mean, you could use him, but that was it. It just felt like nothing really happened. It wasn't that amazing. It was just like, And it was just, I kind of like, didn't like that. And that's the reason he's number 2. Granted, forgetting all that though, but apart from that, Bleeding Gums Murphy is an awesome character, and I'm glad that he is in the Simpsons Tapped Out. He has some really, really cool tasks. Awesome quest line. He was Donuts, unfortunately, but that's okay. You get the Jazz Hole as well. His quest line, like, I would have liked maybe a few more tasks with, like, a task with Lisa. Well, there is that one, but I don't know. I maybe wanted a bit more with him and Lisa, but I also wanted a task that made him into a cloud, because there was like a thing where Lisa, like, sees him as a cloud in the air. I wanted that to happen for him, like, maybe like a 4-day task or something where he was just a cloud in the air. I don't know. I kind of wanted that, but I think overall he is an awesome character. Of course he is, and I'm so glad he's in the game. But like I said, it was kind of underpinned by him just being kind of thrown into the event and not really seeing much significance in the event. If he was made the event leader, and that was kind of Weird Al Yankovic, if Bleeding Gums was made the main protagonist of that event, then he would have been number one for sure. But unfortunately, number one goes to, and can we have that drum roll? Norbert Van Houten. So you're like, what? What? A character who's in like 2 episodes? You're giving it to him? And yeah, I am. The reason is I'm giving it to Norbert is I think that the way that they utilized his character in Destination Springfield is what made Destination Springfield. So I have to give it to Norbert Van Houten. I was the one who voted Norbert Van Houten up in the award ceremony. I was the one who kind of put him forward. Somebody else put Bleeding Gums Murphy forward. And Norbert Van Houten, granted, came second in the award ceremony. So he definitely, at least some people agree with me. At least 30 people agree with me anyway. So that's cool. Now the reason I love Bleeding Gums Murphy is because what they've done, not Bleeding Gums Murphy, Norbert Van Houten, sorry, I'm off a tangent now. The reason I love Norbert Van Houten is, like I said, he led the event. How did he lead the event? Well, if you recall, of course, he basically kind of was the one that started it for a thing. You had his prizes, and basically every time there was kind of a new act, he'd be involved. He'd be involved in the story as well. He'd have his, like I said, he had his own prizes, and then by the final prize, you unlocked his plane, and then you unlocked him. So he was kind of like the final character you unlocked. Norbert Van Houten himself in The Simpsons isn't a big character. He's an Indiana Jones parody, and maybe that is like I do love Indiana Jones, so maybe I'm loving Norbert Van Houten because he is an Indiana Jones parody. Of course, he's Millhouse's uncle. His real name, everyone calls him Zach. He has voice in Tapped Out, which is really, really cool. He has really, really cool animations, and he has a cool questline, brilliant questline. And the fact that he kind of led Destination Springfield is the real reason he is number one on this list. Like I said, if Bleeding Gums Murphy led Homopalooza, he would have been number one because I like Bleeding Gums Murphy as a Simpsons character way more than Norbert Van Houten, so he would have got number one. It's just I felt a little underwhelmed by Bleeding Gums Murphy, and that cost him the number one spot as my 2017 best character. But Norbert Van Houten for sure gets the number one spot. Really, really cool character, and yeah, definitely pretty awesome. So, yeah, that's it for my video on top 10 best characters. I will be doing a video on my top 10 worst characters. And if you guys noticed, this list was a little bit sexist, so I do apologise. There was only one woman or girl on this list, and that was Mary Spruckler. The rest were men. I'm pretty sure last year was similar. I don't know, there just isn't all the interesting female characters. I feel like they've added already. I guess maybe they could add Sarah Wiggum, because Sarah Wiggum's a cool character. I would like to see her. I'm trying to think of other female characters they haven't added, which are that good. Alice Glick. They need to add Alice Glick. But yeah, there is other female characters, obviously. But I don't know. I just feel like this list was didn't have very many females, and I feel like the top 10 worst list, which I should do in a few days, I feel like that's gonna have a lot of females on it, especially my girl Diabetes. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.